Well, so that's the other thing. Yeah. So this film, again, going on that sort of through line of perfectly encapsulating Phase 4 as a whole. The again throwing all males out and just having predominantly female leads. I mean, that was this movie through and through. And M'Baku's barely in this film. Yeah, sure, he gets to be king of Wakanda. Why doesn't he get to be Black Panther? Who's protecting Wakanda when the Black Panther's fucking off? Because that's what happens at the end of this film. Black Panther's gone. And this whole film was about the Black Panther being there to protect Wakanda. And she was like, Wakanda doesn't need a protector anymore. And so she finally decides that, yes, Wakanda needs the Black Panther, and then buggers off at the end of the film. What?
Winston Duke is fantastic, but
he's great.
They made him. M'Baku was an idiot. He was an arrogant idiot in this film, and that's not that was one facet early on in the film in Black Panther. There's many facets to M'Baku. He's a king of his tribe. Nah, man, no, that's bullshit. And then what's their job at the end? They're holding the ropes for the Dora, whatever you call them,
Malage, so whatever they're called.
Where they can fly over and fight the blue people, Mexicans.
Yeah. So these massive dudes are not there to actually beat anyone up. They're just there to help the women.
Yeah, they're holding ropes.
Fuck this film. This film was really.
Who thought of that battle plan, man? It's like, front line, flanks. Come on, man. Who's the general there? Let's go down on the side. And yeah, man.
It's just, this film really does perfectly encapsulate Marvel Phase 4. And also, bookends, I can't remember even what the first movie was in Phase 4. There's been like 15 movies, right, in Phase 4. And it's the most forgettable phase of the MCU we've had. And
yeah, if you're including the television shows too.
Yeah, like it's all pretty forgettable, right?
I liked one show. I liked one show through and through.
What did you like?
Miss Marvel. I really adored Miss Marvel, but it was like,
I didn't watch it. I watched the first one, hated it.
So I'm comparing it to the other ones, which were just bad. Some I just stopped watching. I really enjoyed Miss Marvel. It was very endearing. I'm not so sure it was much of a superhero movie. It's more as like a coming of age kid, discovered powers, loves her families, at odds with her religion, but I thought it was a really good beginning, middle, and end as far as a season of television. But that's not saying much. Compared
this
to
is the thing, I mean, if you can only point to one thing that you liked going all the way through in this sort of Marvel Phase 4 as a series, that's not good either. But
you know what else is not good, Nate? I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Other movies that I just refused to see.
The Eternals?
Thor: Love and Thunder, The Eternals.
Yeah, I put off watching Thor: Love and Thunder, and I didn't enjoy that one bit. It was the thing about this is that I want to see strong female characters. We had strong female characters in the first Black Panther, right? Like we had them.
Sure did.
It set them up, but you also had your strong male characters as well. And again, going back to Wakanda Forever being the representation of the MCU moving forwards, and also Phase 4, is that at the behest and expense of the male characters, the female characters have been lifted up to the forefront, and so all the males are now dumb. They're comic relief. They're being bossed around. And M'Baku's literally told what to do by Shuri at one point, shouted down. And they're just there to, they're almost like a utility. They're a tool for the women to use. Again, the M'Baku's tribe, they're not fighting anyone. They're literally holding the ropes for the women. and it just
Mm-hmm.
doesn't work moving forwards because it's this homogenous, just girl power stuff, and I don't mind it. Like, but there's a time and a place, and you can have girl power whilst also having male characters that young boys can look up to as well. But we don't.
Well, that
There's
was
none
Miss
of that.
Marvel. Miss Marvel was very, pro girl power, but she was a young teenager. She had crushes
Mm,
on dudes. She was a mess, and she had a good family.
mm,
She had a good dad. It was a great character. I think that resonated. Of any of those, that show resonated more with me than the other ones, which were just too much.
mm,
I mean, was it Nighthawk? What's his name? Hawkeye.
mm.
It becomes the girl story. Um, everything's transferred over. Everything's being transferred over.
Yeah. Well, it is as well. Like everyone, everyone that we did have is now having a female counterpart, which is then
Mm-hmm.
leading
Everyone.
charge moving forwards. It's so bizarre. I mean, we haven't got it for Captain America yet. Um,
Well, he's Sam.
so, well, we haven't got a female swap out yet. So that'll be
Yeah,
interesting to see if that
that
ever
might be hard to do
happens.
with a black man. Well, unless it's a black woman.
You never
So they're
know.
so they're
Never
doing with
know.
Black Panther.
It could be done. Could be done. I mean, he just dies of a mysterious disease off screen. Because why not?
Oh man.
Anyway, I think yeah, I think that's a good place to sort of rest on this, unless you've got
Mm-hmm.
any further comment to sort of
I
throw
mean,
in
we
there
could.
about this film or anything like that.
No, I think besides a few nuggets, someone
Mm,
else mentioned Werewolf by Night. I did enjoy that as well.
mm,
Besides that, the majority of Marvel was very forgettable. Some bad storytelling, and that's it.
mm. Night King says, "Why do the conquistadors have Mayan slaves? The Mayans were wiped out 600 years before the Spanish set foot there. They weren't even a country yet."
I think you're thinking of Mayan kingdoms as far as civilizations that lived in cities. That's true.
Mm,
After the post classical period, they just were just dispersed smaller villages, but they were still around.
mm,
They were still around.
mm.
It's yeah, and they are still around. So yeah, but my bigger question is, why didn't Namor, after he freed them, say, "Come with, come with us"?
Yeah, no, well, couldn't help him. Doesn't have the heart-shaped herb, I guess. But then they had the breathing apparatus that they already had back then
But
somehow.
okay, so then basically they just let their kin, like, let them out to dry.
Oh, don't say that.
Well, I mean, that's what happened, bro.
It did. It did.